Okay, questions. But first, some backstory. So last week, I ran into Hank Green, the producer of Sexplanations, and he mentioned he was doing a Vlogbrothers video on pain while experiencing pain. And I said, do you want me to whip you? And he said, yeah, actually. So I got my whip, we met up, and I did. I whipped him. Here's the video if you missed it. The question asked is, was it weird flogging Hank for his video on pain? Yes, it was weird. My life, I am weird. Would you be up for coming to the UK? Yes, I will. I'm up for going to all the places so long as I don't automatically die. I'm a girl and it feels like I'm gonna pee sometimes when my boyfriend gives me oral sex. Why is this? I don't know your body, but my guess is that your urethra is being agitated. You and your partner need to find your meatus, the urethral opening, and quit touching it, licking it, etc. unless the peeing sensation isn't problematic and you want to maintain it. I would also recommend using a barrier for any giving of the oral sex because it can greatly improve the experience. What books/other resources would you recommend I read or otherwise put into my mind about porn? Books, the Feminist Porn Book, What Wild Ecstasy, and Pornology. Other resources, freedomporn.org, the film Middlemen, Porn for the Blind, and also Wikipedia has a helpful page called Documentaries about Pornography. What are fleshlights? A type of sex toy. They are designed to look like flashlights for discretion, but on the inside where there would be a bulb, it feels like flesh. There's a soft, squishy, wet lining so that the object of insertion is essentially enveloped by an artificial orifice. In your video on the gender map, you mentioned MTM and FTF. What does this mean? I've only ever heard of FTM and MTF. So you know FTM is female to male and MTF is male to female. MTM is male to male and FTF is female to female, as in transition happened in my presentation, but not in my gender or sex. It's like I believe I was male and have transitioned to present as male. What are your thoughts on pornography? It enhances sexuality unless it doesn't. I was recently chatting it up with a 17-year-old and he told me that he'd watched porn, of course, but that people who watch porn are pervs. I definitely don't think that watching porn is perverse. I like to think that lingerie, romance novels, romantic dates, lighting candles, all of this is to improve the sexual experience. It's like the animals on SciShow Talk Show. They're meant to be complementary, not mandatory. If they hurt the host or the guests or the audience, then there needs to be a reevaluation. A reevaluation meaning that we also need to evaluate those things before you do anything. Do asexuals masturbate? The answer is the same for the question, do heterosexuals masturbate? Sexual attraction is not the same as sexual behavior. People who identify as asexual may not experience sexual attraction and may still have sex, abstain, get tested, get pregnant, commit to other partners, and masturbate. Masturbation can serve a physiological purpose. You don't need to experience sexual attraction to experience arousal and then the desire to relieve it. Is it weird or abnormal to have sex for the first time in a hookup situation? No, it's actually pretty common, especially with the advent of websites designed to match your first time with a willing stranger. Here's the thing, you still need to use protection, be sober, communicate, and excuse yourself if you change your mind. When have you been with someone long enough that sex is an option? Sex is an option once consent has been established. That could be immediate. Sex is probably your best option when you've discussed sexually transmitted infections, protection, safe words, what you want, and where it's going to happen. Have you watched Sexplanations together yet? Is there an age limit for your channel? Nope. I think a lot of the content is mature, but I don't think it's inappropriate if the person of any age wants the knowledge. Can fingernails rip or tear condoms? Wouldn't this be an issue for people with long nails? Yes and yes. I don't want to encourage you to put them in contact with your nails, but they are really durable, so balance. Who's your favorite Muppet? The Muppets aren't my crew. I'm more of a Sesame Street person, but I wouldn't say I have a favorite there either. Maybe something like the Twiddlebugs, Honkers, Slimy, the Worm. On the quiz, which Muppet are you? I'm Manamana. Stay curious.